Is this the map you refer to? As you can see, this is a global map of the world.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can people hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. So, we've left at scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. Energy is scarce and costly. It takes time, efforts, and money to be explored. Time, efforts, and money spent in the society has its economic cost. The economic cost comprises the opportunity cost. What exactly is opportunity cost? It is the most desired goods or services that are foregone in order to obtain something else. It is what is given up in order to get something else. Investment. It is the process of using resources to produce new capital. Energy production possibility frontier, aka PPF, is a graph that shows all the combinations of energy sources that can be produced and used if all of society's resources are used efficiently. Energy markets. Energy efficiency. This is getting the maximum output of energy from the resources used in production. Every point on a production possibilities curve is efficient. Efficient energy markets. An energy market in which social and profit opportunities are used almost instantaneously. Inefficiency. Waste and mismanagement are the result of a firm operating below its potential. Sometimes inefficiency results from mismanagement of the economy instead of mismanagement of individual private firms. Energy market participants. Billions of people around the globe demand directly or indirectly energy from the energy market. Consumers are attempting to maximize their utility or satisfaction by demanding the limited energy resources. Businesses try to maximize profits by using energy resources efficiently in producing goods or services. Government work to maximize the general welfare of society. The basic goals of maximization, profit maximization, and welfare maximization explain most of the energy market activities. Continuing with specialization and exchange. People and firms buy and sell goods and services in the market because they are either not capable of producing all the things we need or want, or their time, energy, and resources are limited, so they produce only one product and trade for what they don't make for themselves. Today's demand of energy resources is not only a one-way process. Some of the consumers of energy resources are at the same time producers of energy. The term for the convergent demand and supply is prosumer. Prosumers are agents that both consume and produce energy. With the growth in small and medium-sized agents using solar photovoltaic panels, smart meters, vehicle-to-grid electric automobiles, home batteries, and other smart devices, prosuming offers the potential for consumers and vehicle owners to reevaluate their energy practices. Check them out. просто като не. Сега влязох просто като говорител.
Нали имат пратена презентацията? Тя е качена точно. Защо задават въпрос дали ще има презентация?
Трябва да съм ще се нищо. Hello, we're going to continue. Excuse me for the technical difficulties. Can everybody hear me now? And can everybody see the presentation? It has been uploaded. Okay. So we left off, I believe, at specialization and exchange. So we're going to continue on. People and firms buy and sell goods and services in the market because they're not capable of producing all the things we need or want, or their time, energy, and resources are limited, so they produce only one product and trade for what they don't make for themselves. Today's demand of energy resources is not only one-way process. Some of the consumers of energy resources are in the same time producers of energy. The term for the convergent demand and supply is prosumer. Prosumers are agents that both consume and produce energy. With the growth in small and medium-sized agents using solar, photovoltaic panels, smart meters, vehicle-to-grid electric automobiles, home batteries, and other smart devices, presuming offers the potential for consumers and vehicle owners to reevaluate their energy practices. Continuing on with determinants of demand of energy. Here you can see all the determinants of energy market demand that includes preferences, desire for this or another source of energy, the income of the consumer, other energy resources, their availability and price, as well as expectations for income, prices, preferences, and so on, as well as the level of accessibility to different energy resources. It also includes the availability of energy infrastructure, as well as environmental issues in society, the level of technology in the energy sector, the number of buyers of energy, or demographic factors. The determinants of demand of energy, other energy resources, their availability and price, substitute energy resources for each other. The elasticity of interfuel substitution between renewable and non-renewable energy is key to establishing effective climate change policy. When the price of non-renewable rises, then demand of renewable increases, and ceteris paribus. Complementary energies and of renewable energy pieces of equipment are frequently consumed in combination. Renewable resources and transmission are examples of complementary goods. When the price of one type of renewable rises, the demand for this type of renewable energy equipment falls. Continuing on with individual and market supply of energy. Market supply is the total quantities of goods that sellers are willing and able to sell at alternative prices in a given period of time. The determinants of the market supply include the technology in the sector, factor costs of energy, taxes and subsidies, expectations for the price of energy, the number of sellers or competitors, and other energy sources. Larger quantities will be offered for sale at higher prices. Supply curves are upward sloping to the right. According to the law of supply, the quantity of a good supply in a given time period increases as its price increases. Changes in the quantity supplied is the movement along the supply curve, and changes in supply shifts in the supply curve. Energy surplus and shortage. A market surplus is the amount by which the quantity energy supplied exceeds the quantity demanded at a given price, or excess supply. A market surplus is created when the seller's asking prices are too high. A market shortage is the amount by which the quantity energy demanded exceeds the quantity supplied at a given price, or excess demand. A market shortage is created when the seller's asking prices are too low. The energy price system, rationing and allocating energy resources. Price floor, a minimum price below which exchange is not permitted. Price ceiling is the opposite, a maximum price that sellers may charge for a good, usually set by the government. Price elasticity of demand is the response of consumers to a change in the price of energy is measured by the price elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand is the percentage change in a quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Sources of the market failure. Market failure, it occurs when resources are mislocated or allocated inefficiently. The result is waste or lost value. There are four important sources of market failure: imperfect market structure or non-competitive behavior, the existence of public goods, imperfect market information, and externalities, the presence of external costs and benefits. Imperfect condition, an industry in which single firms have some control over price and competition. Imperfectly competitive industries give rise to an inefficient allocation of resources. Monopoly. Monopoly is an industry composed of only one firm that produces a product for which there are no close substitutes and in which significant barriers exist to prevent new firms from entering the industry. Sources of market failure. Public goods. A private good is a good or service whose consumption by one person excludes consumption by others. A public good is good or service whose consumption by one person does not exclude consumption by others. Underproduction of public goods. Everyone would wait for someone else to pay if public goods were marketed like private goods. The market tends to underproduce public goods and overproduce private goods. Tragedy of the commons is a concept highlighting the conflict between individual and collective rationality. The tragedy of the commons is an economic problem in which every individual has an incentive to consume a resource at the expense of every other individual with no way to exclude anyone from consuming. It results in overconsumption, underinvestment, and ultimately depletion of the resources. The free rider dilemma. The communal nature of public goods may cause consumers to try for a free ride. A free rider is an individual who reaps direct benefits from someone else's purchase or consumption of a public good. Failure, externalities. Externalities are the costs or benefits of a market activity borne by a third party. The difference between the social and private costs, the benefits of a market activity. Whenever externalities are present, market prices aren't a valid measure of a good's value to society. The market will underproduce goods that yield external benefits and overproduce those that generate external costs. External costs are social demand equals market demand plus externalities. The externality is subtracted if it is an external cost. The optimal production mix is where the social demand curve intersects the supply curve. External benefits. Externalities can also be beneficial. If a product yields external benefits, the social demand is greater than the market demand. Auctions and energy resource allocation, auctions for oil and gas exploration leases. Auctions and energy resource allocation. In most countries in the world, the ownership of natural resources is vested in sovereign states, with national governments acting as custodians. Governments around the world have relied upon various methods to allocate the rights to develop natural resources. Generally, methods of resource allocation are classified into open door systems if they involve agreement primarily through negotiation, and into licensing round systems if they involve structured procedures with qualifying criteria. Specifically, the four most common procedures are administrative processes, lotteries, first come, first serve, and auctions. The winner's curse is the idea that in the winner in certain auctions may have overestimated the value of the good, thus ending up worse off than the losers. To get most of the fossil fuel resources, countries rely on auctions. The economic multiplier, the multiplier as seen in the plant aggregate expenditure diagram. The economic multiplier. Suppose there is an increase in the amount of investment expenditure of business firms in the energy sector. Business firms may be desirous of investing more if, for example, there occurs a technological change in a major industry, such as the renewable energy industry. If a new business opportunity in renewables is identified, firms may decide to invest and build new plants in order to serve the growing market for the product. Expansionary fiscal policy, an increase in government spending or a reduction in net taxes aimed at increasing aggregate output, the income. Expansionary monetary policy, an increase of money in the money supply aimed at increasing aggregate output income. Crowding out effect, the tendency for increases in government spending to cause reductions in private investment spending. Competitive analysis, marketing value frameworks. Marketing is the management process that seeks to maximize returns to shareholders by developing and implementing strategies to build relationships of trust with highly valued customers and to create a sustainable differential advantage. So here's a few questions we're going to look through. What is the purpose of marketing? How marketing creates value in an organization? What are the drivers? What are the drivers of marketing value? How to create value-based marketing strategy? Does the proposed strategy create value for shareholders? Would alternative marketing strategies create more value? How sensitive is the strategy to original assumptions and to unexpected changes to the environment? The identification, anticipation, and satisfaction of the needs and wants of the customer at profit. What is value? Business strategies should be judged by the economic returns they generate for shareholders and the value proposition for the customer. Economic value is created only when the ROI exceeds the cost of capital. Need to calculate the discounted future cash flows associated with the marketing strategy, customer value proposition, satisfaction of customer needs, offering superior value to customers relative to the competition, establish an ongoing relationship, loyalty and trust, and shareholder value is added. Value proposition and minimal viable product. A value proposition, also known as VP, is a promise of value to be delivered. It is the primary reason a prospect should buy from you. A minimal viable product (MVP) is the concept from the lean startup that stresses the impact of learning in new product development. Eric Rice defined an MVP as the version of a new product which allows a team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. This validated learning comes in the form of whether your customers will actually purchase your product. The VP and MVP concept as a process is displayed as a flow chart in the right side of the slide. Porter's value chain analysis, the main financial drivers of cash flow, is as stated: sales growth, after-tax operating margin, investment requirements. Not just the level of cash flows, but also the timing, duration, and riskiness. Marketing value drivers are choices of markets, target market segmentation, differential advantage, and marketing mix. So here are the main questions you should ask when doing competitor analysis. Who are the competitors? What are their strategies? Where are they vulnerable? Where are we vulnerable, and what should we do? And here are some criteria that you should consider: strategic objectives, strategic focus, volume focus, like converting non-users, entering new segments, increasing usage rate, and winning competitors' customers, as well as productivity focus, which includes reducing costs, increasing prices, and enhancing the sales mix. You should also consider customer targets, competitor targets, core strategy, and marketing mix. Porter's Five Forces analysis. Porter's Five Forces model can be used to explain the competitiveness within the energy sector. It is the result of five forces. First, the threat of new competitors, the power of suppliers, the power of customers, the threat of substitutes, and industry rivalry. Awareness of Porter's five forces can help a company understand the structure of the sector in which it operates and its profitability over a medium-long term. At the same time, it provides a reference framework through which the company can anticipate and influence the competition and profitability of the sector over time, thereby determining a lasting competitive advantage. The threat of new competitors. The force determines how easy or not it is to enter a particular industry. If an industry is profitable and there are few barriers to enter, rivalry soon intensifies. When more organizations compete for the same market share, profits start to fall. It is essential for existing organizations to create high barriers to enter to deter the new entrants. Threat of new entrants is high when low amount of capital is required to enter a market, existing companies can do little to retaliate, existing firms do not possess patents, trademarks, or do not have established brand reputation. There's also no government regulation, and customer switching costs are low. That means it doesn't cost a lot of money for a firm to switch to other industries. There's also low customer loyalty, products are nearly identical, and economies of scale can be easily achieved. The threat of new competitors entering a certain sector can limit the profit potential of new companies already operating in the sector. A low threat of new competitors is, for example, caused by higher barriers to entry. These barriers may be of different natures. Some examples are legislative barriers, example given the existence of patents, rights, government policy, etc., startup costs, and economies of scale. High startup costs and cost structures characterized by large fixed costs and low operating costs represent a barrier to entry because a new player must face a large upfront investment and then be able to become sufficiently large to make profit. A restricted and limited access to a distribution channel also decreases the threat of new competitors. Customer loyalty is also a factor. Customers may be loyal to a brand and therefore unlikely to change supplier, even when offered a product with equivalent or even better quality to price ratio. Switching costs. Customers may be unwilling to change from one supplier to another because of high costs incurred through switching suppliers. Profitability. The lower the industry profitability, the lower the threat of new entries. And expertise. Sectors characterized by steep learning curves may be unattractive to new players, which may struggle to compete against experienced companies. This is the last slide, and with that, we are finishing the presentations. Now, if you have any questions, me and my team, we will be very grateful to answer. So it seems that we don't have any questions about this presentation. We will continue with the global energy business case study.
Hello, I'm the assistant of Mrs. Gergana Raiku. I'm happy to join you within the webinar, Global Energy Business. I'll assist Mrs. Raiku with the case study analysis. We have decided, the team I mean, to choose a case study that illustrates the Porter's five forces model analysis. You can find the case on the link that is displayed on the slide here. The most important thing in this case study analysis is to retrieve this information from the link and to try to find answer to these questions that are numbered here from 1 to 3, because this is a European project. It concerns some EU members, country members, like Spain, Denmark, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands. So our main objective in this case study analysis is to find a way to analyze, to use five forces, Porter's five forces model, in order to analyze business environment, in this case, European business environment, for a project that is aimed to create a system for storage of energy. So we will start with the first force in the five force model. So I'll refresh your memory with repeating again the five forces. First force, this is the threat of new competitors. Second force, this is the threat of the purchasing power of customers. Another force is the threat coming from suppliers. Next, this is the force that is going to threaten you from the standing point of substituting services, goods, products. So we will continue with the main source of information that threat of new competitors is giving to you. Firstly, the case is about creating a compressed heat energy storage for energy from renewable sources. So electrical energy storage technology are very efficient just now, and they're very how to say, very important for not only EU but for the global economy, for global environment. Environmental protection needs such a possibility for electric energy storage that will be quite important from the standing point of diminishing CO2 emissions into the air, into the atmosphere. So the threat of new competitors here in this case is analyzed from the viewpoint of competitors that are possessing relatively low upfront costs, competitors that are very good in this to find high-skilled, experienced technicians and experts. We will attempt also to find information about regulation preventing third-party or customers' ownership of certain distributed energy resources, and the regulations existing in the European Union environment preventing this electric energy storage technology from competing in energy. You know very well that there are some regulations concerning the antitrust legislation. So this is important to see here. Where is Europe? You see the graph, and this graph is giving you information about the percentage of electrical energy storage technologies deployed in different countries until 2030. So this information is coming from Bloomberg source. As you see, it's relatively new. It's not the newest one, but it's relatively new, on 2017. So you see that a lot of countries, they have a relatively huge percentage of the EES in their electrical market system. So we can try to understand what is the threat of new competitors by analyzing the environment, and the environment is going to be analyzed by using a tool well known as PSTL analysis. So this is the analysis of the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal components of the environment. Now we'll continue with the next slide. That is the second force I have mentioned previously, the power suppliers. So we've got here information about what is the power of different suppliers in comparison with the Chester project. I'll refresh your memory by trying to decompose this acronym into elements: compressed heat energy storage for energy from renewable sources. So this is the project about. And the power suppliers here analyzed is based on analysis of existing supplying systems of different types of energy sources. So you see that there are different elements that are analyzed here, like heat pumps, organic cranking cycles, and it's difficult to see the table, the content of the table. But if you're going to have this opportunity later on to see the presentation and to analyze different elements of this presentation, so you can get into details. This will help you, will assist you to understand really what is the power supplier in this project. Next slide is slide number 5 is giving you an idea about some details concerning suppliers from the viewpoint of manufacturers of different pieces of equipment, technologies, and so on. You see the table. High temperature thermal energy storage elements are also analyzed here. You can see also two diagrams that are analyzing the percentage market share of these markets. So it's quite important to take into consideration details about suppliers from the viewpoint of capacity, some references, because by referencing the sources, the targets of this supply process, you can understand how good are these suppliers, how these manufacturers, in what way they could be a threat for the project, in this case, Chester project. Next is the power of customers. As a matter of fact, you can see on the figure here presented, you can see the 5-force model illustrated graphically. So I'll repeat again, the threat of new entrants, the threat of bargaining power of customers, the threat of substitutes, the bargaining power of our suppliers, and we have discussed already the bargaining power of suppliers, as well as the threat of new entrants. Now we'll continue with the power of customers. So what is the power of customers? The power of customers to push the price downward. So if the price going down, it would be inefficient to operate on this market. So as you can see in the middle of this figure, in the middle of this illustration, you've got the competitive rivalry within the industry. So rivalry is directly linked to the power of customers, because if competitors will try all the time to higher the price, and if the customers are attempting to lower the price, you can find a niche in the market by operating at the level of reasonable price. So reasonable price means in the same time to be high enough in order you not to lose, to incur costs that are going to make you non-competitive. In the same time, you'll benefit from the larger profit margin. So this is critically important to operate in the correct market, because there are different pricing strategies, like following the price leader or cost plus strategy, or dumping price strategy. You can set the price too low, even below the cost of production of your energy or services, and this will cause you troubles. This will be a source of troubles for you, because you won't be able to exist anymore. You can file for bankruptcy. So the power of customers is critically important. And here in this Chester project, you can see the description is clearly defined here. Clearly defining here the way these customers are expressing their power. And next is the threat of substitutes. So substituting goods, there are two different types of goods, like complementary goods, substituting goods. Complementary goods are not so critically dangerous, because by using complementary goods, you can stimulate your cells, because complementary goods, they are services or additional piece of equipment or technologies or know-how for some technologies or innovations result of your research and development plans that can assist the cells. But substituting goods will be a threat, a real threat for you. So in this Chester project, you can see part of these substituting goods or products or technologies, like pumped hydro storages, batteries, like lead acid batteries or nickel cadmium batteries or sodium sulfur batteries. So these are possible substituting goods. And next slide is continuing the list of these substituting goods, like zinc bromine batteries, vanadium redox flow, and so on. Chemical storages are also threat because they can substitute, especially for Chester project, they can substitute their main product and their main commercial activity, or electromagnetic energy saving systems. The table that is given here could be a good source of information for analyzing the threat of substitutes. Next slide is also, as you can see, the relative weight of this force, threat of substitutes, is quite huge, quite big. And this is because a simple reason. In the modern market, the gainers or the winners or the most successful firms are those that are always at the age of conventional technologies. They are applying so-called high technologies or front-end technologies or so-called disruptive technologies, because disruptive technologies, they eliminate the threat of substitutes, always. There are a lot of examples in this direction. So you can see here the graph that is giving you an idea about these EAS technologies in the comparison with the other type of technologies existing in this field. There is an illustration also comparing, not comparing, but describing in details the Chester project. And as you can see here, you've got the wind energy source, the solar energy source, the prosumers here, because prosumers are important and essential element of this global energy business, because prosumers, they will produce energy by installing solar photovoltaic panels on their roofs, on the roofs of their houses, and they'll produce energy. They will supply with energy their cars, their household needs, and they will start selling, for example, during the time they are going to be on vacations, or during the time when there is excessive sun, like, for example, in the southern part of Balkan Peninsula, you've got a lot of sun, and this sun will produce excessive energy that could be sold, could be sellable, and it could be sold to the operators, to the energy operators. Next slide is industrial rivalry. You can read this text and you'll understand what are the elements of industrial rivalry for EES technologies, and the Chester project details about comparing the competitive firms and the project itself. So that's all, I guess. That's all for the case. Unavoidably, this case needs a thorough study, and in order to find an answer to all these questions that I mentioned previously at the beginning of this presentation, you'll need time, I understand. But for the needs of this webinar, if you've got any question, don't hesitate to ask questions. Mrs. Gergana Raiku she's here, I'm here, we can answer your questions, or further on in future we can do it via emails or via other sources of communication or tools of communication. So thank you from my side.
So we're going to ask once again if there are any questions. We would love to answer those. If not, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your day to listening to us. the presentations are uploaded, so if you like, you can take a second look and read the information given. And I would like to wish you to have a very nice day from me and my team, and goodbye.